Hi, greetings. My name is Amira Sankofa Kwali. I'm with Ask Life Coaching Ministries. Today, of course, topic is on psychic attacks. I've been trying to do this video for approximately, oh my God, 3 days. I keep having issues with either the channeling, either maybe it's going too slow, maybe there's an issue with the internet. I don't call the internet provider that says everything's fine on their end, all the rest of the computers, but I don't know what it is about me trying to do these videos here lately. I've been having problems. Am I being psychically attacked? I don't know. But there's something that's wanting to stop me from getting my message out. And my message is very important. It's a message that everybody needs to be aware of in regards to becoming psychically attacked. So, without further ado, let me really tell you a little something about what a psychic attack is. I've been trying to tell you this all day. I just got done doing the video. I can't even hear the volume on it. Only thing you see me is probably making these little weird faces because the video is running somewhat slowly. So shall we go into what exactly is it? How does it get to us? And what can you do to prevent it? Let's talk about anything along those lines. Right now, I'm just doing the purpose of a video for strict educational purposes, and also take my dang on classes. I really advise you to take this class because I'm offering it in I think like 4 different ways. I have advanced level, beginners level, I have an intermediate level, and I definitely have a level where I do a lecture on it. So I would definitely recommend that you take the course. I think you will get a lot of fulfillment out of it. I'm not just saying it because I'm the teacher, but because I know that it's definitely worthy of your time, and it's very much inexpensive. Because most of my courses are inexpensive. If you Google anything, you pretty much will find how it's not about the money for me. It's really about the education. This is a business for me, but at the same time, it's definitely an educational experience for people to be aware of, certain things, healing practices, because I do a lot of healing practices. That's primarily what my business is centered off of, is healing. So I have clients from low income and, of course, more. So that's why I'm able to charge certain prices because of the work. If it not for you, the client, or you, the student, I would not be in business. I would not be able to heal. And so most of us who have these gifts, it's very important that we utilize it in the correct way. Um, and this is my only means of income. So, and to be honest with you, I love it. I love doing healing. But I guess this video is not about me doing healing, right? It's about psychic attacks. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny how I went on a tangent about how I love what I do. But I do. I can't help it. Anyway, so hopefully you will find it in your heart to definitely tune in to my videos and definitely learn with me. So let's talk about what is it. So let's kind of go into what is it, because I've asked that. That's the first question people usually ask. It's basically when someone attempts to harm another person through a spiritual level or using psychic energy. Okay, so normally I'm asked like who or the victims that normally experience this. Well, primarily they're healers, such as myself. They may be psychics. There are also people who are healers. There are also people who tarot readers. They tap into certain people's energy. Anybody that taps into certain energies, anybody like your average person who walk in a room and can be psychically attacked and just not know it. So, on a basic level, the psychic attacks, of course, or someone's basically the purpose is attacking your energy field. It's actively attacking you through some negative intentions. For example, if you're sending hate to someone, or envisioning the person and wishing them harm, or wishing them that they fail on what they do, basically casting spells and things like that. Definitely, there are different types of. There are so many types of psychic attacks, of course, and one being psychic vampires, and those basically people who drain your energy field. So when they talk about when they talk about the vampires, the little vampires on the make believe TV shows, and you see the vampire actually seducing the person, draining that person's energy, sucking their blood, and things like that. All energy transference and taking, and draining. So of course, when you have psychic vampirism, you actively done negative intentions. We talked about that, and unconsciously, without intention. Sometimes you don't know that you're a vampire, psychic vampire, and sometimes the people really, really do know. So it could be unconsciously, it could be conscious. The unconscious more is very much more common. Okay, so it usually occurs when a person is needy and when they grab onto another person to suck their energy, and they put themselves in their life, and that person, on the other hand, the receiving end, feels like they're drowning. So psychic contamination is somewhat happens if you're vulnerable energy system. You could be sick. You could be going through a very stressful time. You could just going through a divorce. So those people are normally victims of it. You could just gotten out of a bad relationship, a friendship. Sometimes, you having problems at home, having problems at work. Anything, all those can definitely, anything, when you're sick, your immune system is down. So that's basically when you're really vulnerable. And when you're sick, you might have cancer, you might just got hospital cancer, you might just have a chemo shot, a chemo treatment, HIV, AIDS, all that. Anything, that can make you sick. MS. I've read and I've done some research upon, and people who have MS are very much subject to being psychically attacked. So just in case, and making you aware of this is certainly an occurrence. I've seen it for myself to happen. So be careful. So I talked about if unchecked, if you don't get this checked out, if you don't try to cleanse that energy, and certainly, let me give you a couple of ways to cleanse the energy, and that's via sage, smudging, black salt, making sure you don't just allow anyone to enter your home, because different people carry different energies, and you don't know what their intentions are, not just for security purpose, but security purpose for your overall, your psychic being, your psyche. So you don't want just anybody messing with you in that regard, especially with your home that's very pretentious. It takes longer to get rid of, but you can certainly still get rid of it. It just takes longer time. Okay. So also through candle lighting, affirmations, things like that. So I might go into detail a bit further. This is not going to be a very long video. So when I talk about, of course, if unchecked, the results could be depression, could be one, strong anxiety, illness, bad luck, loss of jobs, accidental occurrences, money problems, things like that. Sounds like somebody put a whammy on you. Back in the day, we used to call it the whammy. So of course, in cases of illness, psychic attacks can also open up the recipient's energy system to energy contamination. So deep contamination can certainly last for a long period of time during long-term chronic illnesses, which of course consist of chronic fatigue syndrome. And as I said before, the multiple sclerosis. So you just have to those are not the only ones, but just be mindful of those, which is more so, you definitely want to immune yourself, and definitely carrying around crystals, putting in your pocket, sleeping with them, getting attached to them. Things like this, like the Bacteria. is really, really good. The tiger's eye is really good. The amethyst uh, is the purple uh, clear crystal is very good. And also the clear crystal quartz is really good for that as well. So just understand. Okay. So I kind of went through that. That's like the basic synopsis of it. And then, of course, at the end of that course, you're given atonement. You know, it tells you to atone yourself, to retone yourself. And on another in time, you're invoking a certain spirit of a deity of the creator, or whatever you call a spiritual guide that you might attune with, right? You ask them to atone you with all physical protection flames. So you want to be protected. Through that, and just you say a little something something and it goes through. So hopefully your intentions are correct, because your intention should be advisable to be the best that it can be, because you definitely want to leave an impact, a positive impact on yourself. So although you might have gotten psychically attacked, you don't want to go back and psychically attack that person. Well, I'm going to get back on them because that talks about revenge. Of course, that intensifies the psychic attack, the tacky. So just be really, 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 really mindful of that, and be very careful. So with that said, and going to into more discussions of that, when I kind of talked about, and this is somewhat of what I talked about earlier, when I talked about the psychic attacks and different types of forms, I gave you like a couple basic ones to certainly be mindful of. But again, there are more that you must understand and go more into detail with. And one, when it talks about psychic attachments, so a lot of times, a person or a being, a person or an entity, object, or could certainly attach themselves to you. So just be careful of that. If you find yourself very obsessive, or another person around you, or maybe a client that you're working with, if they're very obsessive about an object or a thing, then more than likely they've been psychically attacked. And certainly, I did kind of touch on a little bit. Crystal healing, chakra healing, as I stated before, and Reiki are excellent devices in getting people cleared. Also, if it, say for example, it may be their home that got attached, and you can certainly go and do the smudge test inside their home. You want to do some purifications within their home to clear their home of that negative energy and negative surrounding. So you definitely want to, put more positive things. You definitely want to, I would advise people to start creating altars. Don't let people touch your altars. Don't let people allow people. I know a lot of people do when they're doing these readings. They allow people to touch their objects. They allow people, no. I would not allow anybody to touch my tarot cards. I would not allow anybody to touch certain things. And things that I touch on people, like my hands, because you can definitely, your hands are very quick, are very easy for you to clear energy, and crystals are really, of course, are easier to clear. Not saying you can't clear anything else, because you can. Okay. So when you talk about the psychic attachment, that certainly occurs when a person finds itself, and I did break that down, about obsessed about a particular thing or object. Okay. And Astro is like basically the result of someone being directly attacked through the aura, through possibly a ritual. So that is very careful when you're a healer or a shaman or a metaphysic physician. Certainly, you can definitely be harmed really quickly, and some of those folks like that can sometimes, maybe like you owe them money, you didn't pay them their whole entire amount of money when they did the service on you, and they might be seeking revenge. I've seen that happen. No, I've never done that, but I've had clients to come to me, and I had to remove that type of energy from them because of people putting that on them. And so you just have to be careful when you're operating in this world. It's really nothing to play with. It's nothing really to dabble with. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're an amateur, then go sit down. Allow someone else that is a professional to do it, to get rid of it. And yes, you can remove it from yourself as well. If you really know what you're doing, if you're being trained, somebody like me can certainly train you. I do offer that. Also, by the way, I didn't give you my information. I am 502, my number, 208-9142. My website is www.ask314life.com. Um, so I would really, 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 really get you to really understand how important it is for you to just be really mindful about who and what you talk to, and you're around, and even entering certain rooms. You have to guard your psyche with your life, because people don't, and sometimes people just really don't care about what they can do with your psyche and who you are and that kind of thing. They don't know you from a can of paint in some cases. In some cases, they do know you, and it's because of maybe you caused them certain types of wrongs in their life time, and they want revenge. So just be careful of that and watch how we treat each other. You definitely have to start treating each other in the best manner possible. One second, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get one of my sisters. She said she wanted to join. I don't know. Um, so we definitely want to be careful about how we deal with stuff. Sometimes when people have addictions, they are susceptible to psychically attacking you, and they also are subject to being psychically attacked. And it's a lot easier because their inhibitions are down and they're able to maneuver certain kind of ways, more so. So you definitely want to be careful of that, and just thinking about people's motives. So you have to look at people's motives and look outside of yourself, and just sometimes you can let people know, hey, every time I'm around you, because I've had clients like that, and I've been honest with them, or friends, associates, or whatever. I'm like, every time you come around, my chest really hurts. And it's not a thing where I feel like it's something wrong with you, because sometimes I do have the gift where I can tell when certain things are ailing a person, or it's about to ail them. So sometimes I can tell that. But in most cases, more than likely, they are draining your energy. So I will tell people, hey, you have you ever been told you're a vampire, that you drain people's energy, and they're like, yes or no, why no, or why yes. But definitely be honest. You can definitely be honest with people, even if you know that they're doing it intentionally. Like, hey, I know what you're doing. Stop. And call it out in the universe, say it to them, and say it to the universe as well. You can certainly do that. Or you can just get the hell away from them and go home and get rid of it, or call someone like me and I'll help you to assist you with that. But certainly you can do things. Let me give you a couple of ways of doing it. I told you about the smudging. I told you about the sage. I told you about, well, I didn't tell you about the grounding technique. So it's different things you can do as far as the grounding is concerned. You can do it before and after doing energy work, or before and after getting around people. You can do the breathing techniques, which you're breathing in through your nose and you're breathing out through your mouth. And you're taking deep breaths, and you imagine you're breathing in, and you're breathing in the light. You're imagining this light, okay? When you're exhale, you're breathing in anything you want to let go of. Okay, and then you pushing it out. So you visualize your body being fulfilled with this light, this beautiful, beautiful light. And then you continue on until you're calm, because you definitely want to be calm, because that would be a way of invoking and getting rid of that negative energy. So then, of course, they have yoga, the yoga grounding technique, which you stand with your legs and shoulders apart. Why? I'm going to go into great detail, but just understand that you can use that. But this involves your root chakra, okay? And again, they primarily, of course, we know that for a fact that there's many, many chakras. However, there are 7 main ones that most practitioners work on. And a lot of times I will work on the one all the way here, the Astro Tech one, the spiritual one right up here that's above the crown. So that's the chakra as well. That's right into the spiritual realm, it goes further into the intuition and spiritually. So when you talk about grounding your energetic roots, I talked about this before over and over and over again, over and over and over again. So you're gonna sit calmly and you're gonna, of course, comfortably with your hands and your legs. You're gonna take a few slow and deep breaths, and you're gonna basically imagine yourself having roots and growing down through your legs and out through your soles of your feet, of course. And then, of course, you're gonna be breathing deep into your earth and anchoring you while anchoring you. Okay, and then the next stage of that, of course, you're going to continue focus on your root and digging into the earth until you calm and realize and relax really good. Okay, so one of the things you have to imagine yourself, because we all tree of life, right? Excuse me, but we start off as seeds and then we grow into the root and then we grow and grow and grow into the tree, right? So if you imagine that, that's basically kind of what it's saying. So just imagine that, because sometimes it's hard, but then just imagine yourself digging to the root, getting to the root, getting to the root of the air. And then once you're doing that, it's like that anticipation. You're getting rid of certain things because, a lot of times when you are feeling negative and you clean up, how fast you clean up and how your energy feels released because you're letting a lot of that go. So you can definitely clean up as one. That's not mentioned in my classes, but I do teach about that as well. You can also wear grounding stones, piece of jewelry, pendulums, pin it. You can definitely put it in your pocket. I talked about that also. Also, rubbing stones is really good. Focus on the solidness of the stone. Okay, and I talked about the stones. I talked about the turbulin right here, the black one. It doesn't have to be the black one, but I think the black one is one of the best, right? So the hemite. Then you have the cardaline, uh, the tigers. I talked about that. The jet and the smoky quartz and any darkly colored reddish stones is great help for. And the flint. I forgot about that. I apologize. I totally forgot about that. So yeah, you can certainly use that. Meditation is also a great form of relaxing. So especially when you're doing energy work, when you're going into crowds, if you have high level of anxiety, you're definitely susceptible. You're definitely could certainly be a person who can get that kind of energy. You don't want that. So you definitely want to meditate before you go into large crowds because sometimes you can feel, and even if you're just a healer in general or you're an empath, you can certainly feel certain people's energy and hear things. And, if you're at home alone and you hear all these different noises, yes, you definitely want to say those affirmations are really good for you. And using meditation, you can use all three at the same time, um, of course. And then we talk about clearing energy and the psychic protection. So with that, I recommend that you basically try several of them at one time. You can certainly do that, as I mentioned before. But again, you have to find a system or a process that works for you because everybody process may not work. My process may not work for you that I'm making a recommendation on, but that's why I'm giving you several different ones. I'm not just giving you one way of doing things because in this life, we know it's always usually three correct ways to get to a area, and it's two other ways that's like wrong or half, and another way is halfway there, but you still don't get it, right. So you definitely, if you feel like you're being attacked, you definitely want to keep repeating the ritual that you do. And what I mean by ritual, I mean doing something on a consistent basis, on a religious basis, on frequently. So God, can you believe that my blab is still going? I haven't had any computer issues with this, and usually I've been having a lot of problems lately. Well, I am happy for that, so I guess that's positive. But definitely understand and stand your ground on getting grounded. Again, Don't let anyone into your house unnecessarily. Even like maintenance people come in, you're gonna always light an incense. If you have an apartment, you stay in an apartment or you stay with someone else, you always want to light incense or sage before them entering in the home, and just saying things silent to yourself, so you don't so they don't bring that outside crap with them. When they come into your house, they know they're coming into peace, and they're not gonna continue that peace, that negativity that they had outside your door. Um, so you always want to be grateful and show gratitude toward the divine energies and who are helping you to go through this. And of course, we want to talk about your intention. Your intention is one of the most important aspects of doing any type of healing work, and just your general outlook on life. I know we don't have everything that we want here, but we still have to be grateful for what we have, and then work hard to get to the next level, right? I talked about the smudging. This is an ancient practice we've been doing since the days of Kemet. And of course, in the red people culture, they utilize this as well. They do the sweat lodges and the spiritual ceremonies and things like that. With the feather, the smudging. That could be a form of smudging. Um, Also, you can smudge as smoking. Also, you can use your hands with a feather by the wave of the smoke around yourself. You're gonna brush the smoke away from your head and your body, front to back. Okay, and then with this smoke, I clear myself. You can certainly say that. You can say it. It's recommended you say it at least 3 times. Okay, so of course, I talked about before, filling yourself with the light. Taking that advanced course, will go more into detail about that. And it talks about staying near a friend, stand and face your friend. You want to get rid of and doing certain exercises to help with negative energy and negative psychic attacks, of course. We utilize, it goes more into detail, which of course you can take that class. The energy ball with majority of my atonements that I teach and offer, they talk about the energy ball. I sometimes I give people a choice. Sometimes within the particular course, it gives you the energy ball. It gives you a different type of atonement. Sometimes I would just offer people energy balls as well, along with the atonement. I don't mind overdoing it sometimes. Um, but just basically imagining the ball being filled and things like that is your energy ball. So you're gonna filling with a space with the light. So you offering the light, being always a positive sign. When you talk to people and they tell you that when they send to other areas or realms, they might have had a near death experience, is what I'm trying to say. And what happens with that, all of them talk about this light, this light, this light, this light, okay? So you are visualizing the light, this bright, bright light. So they got other ways that you can stay grounded. But I'm just gonna only go into again. I'm just gonna briefly do this. So we talk about energy mirrors as well. I told you about the affirmations. You can certainly pray if that's what you choose to do. The mantras, you can certainly do that, and you can do the mantras and utilizing symbols. So the mantras and chants, you can certainly do. They have so many great ones, and they are. It's told to me that usually with the mantras you want to do those to invoke your protection, like usually 9 times, repeated 9 times. So like the symbols, like it's the Ankh. I have the Ankh drawn on me. I have tattoos of Ankh, and I also carry the Ankh as well when I'm doing readings and healings and things like that. It's a very, very powerful tool for me. I can definitely relate to that. And I also have statues of Aset and Osiris. So I don't leave home without it. Let's see, where am I at? So I think I am going to wrap it up if nobody has any further questions for me. I know some of us are somewhat late coming in. That's cool. Welcome. But basically, this blab was just about talking about psychic attacks, and I kind of went through. I actually teach the courses, I have the immediate, the beginner's course as well as the advanced course. So I kind of went into detail upon that. So hopefully people will get that course. So, well, anyway, thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Amira Sankofa Kwali. I'm with Ask Life Coaching Ministries. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you have a peace and love and light day. Thank you.